Hello, this is Kim Bragg with Bluegrass Community and Technical College, and this is for ACH 100 Construction Documents 1. We are going to be using SketchUp free online version, and we are going to be building a typical wall section for a residential project. The students have been given a written assignment and have been given videos to watch, and I will include those as part of the instructions after this video when it is posted. I would like to start by grabbing my tape measure tool, and according to the instructions, we are building a foundation wall that is 6 feet long with a footing that is 2 feet wide and 1 foot deep. So we will go 2 feet in this direction and 1 foot, grab it and go up 1 foot in this direction, and then grab our rectangle tool and do that. And then we can pick our push-pull tool, and we're going to go in that direction 6 feet. Now that we have our footing, we're going to triple click, right click, and make it a group. Now, as part of that footing, we are going to put in 2 at number 4 rebar continuous and number 4 rebar at 16 inches on center, and a number 4 rebar that is an L bar vertically at 32 inches on center. In order to see what we're doing better, we're going to pick the footing, and we're going to go over here to materials, and we're going to look for glass and turn this into glass so that we can see a little better. We don't have the full range of materials that we would have in the Pro version. And then in order to place our rebar properly, we're going to go 3 inches up from the bottom and 1.5 inches and 1.5 inches. And again, I'm typing those down here in the command line. And then we are going to go, number 4 rebar is 1/2 inch, 4/8 of an inch, 1/2 inch. So we're going to go up 0.25 in order to get to the center of that rebar, and 0.25 and 0.25. Then we're going to go over here and we're going to grab our circle tool. We're going to go in here and we're going to pick the center and the bottom. And there's our 2 rebar that will be continuous. So now we're going to push those all the way down to the other end of the footing. And we'll do it with this other one as well. And now that we have these 2, we're going to triple click, right click, and make it a group. Triple click, right click, and make it a group. Now, in order to get the ones going in the other direction, you can come over here to the side, and we'll go in 3 inches here just so that we have some extra room. And we're going to go up 3.5 inches, and then we're going to go up 0.25 inches, and then we'll do our circle again, and then we will push it all the way through for starters. Now we know that we don't want it coming out the edges, so we're going to push that back in 1.5 and go over here and push that back in 1.5. And now we have our first rebar. Now we have the footing picked, we can right click and we can hide that for a second. And then we can triple click, right click, and make it a group. And now in order to repeat that, we can use the move tool and grab anywhere on it and then hit control, and it will create a new one. And since we're heading in the direction that we want to go, if we type in 16, it will give us 16 inches on center. And then before we touch anything else, if we type in, let's say 5x, and hit enter, and we zoom out, we have created 5 copies. Whoops, look at that, we made an extra one. So we can just delete that. And now we have all the rebar in the base. Now we can go over here and we can go to our unhide all, and we have our rebar inside of our footing. Now I'm going to delete these guides right here so that they're not in the way anymore. And in order to get the L shapes of rebar that are going to go all the way up our wall, actually I'll come back to that in a little bit once we actually have our wall. So according to the assignment, we're going to build an 8-inch wide by 8-foot tall concrete wall on top of this. The footing has to be keyed so that we are retaining wall doesn't want to slide off of its footing. So we're going to grab our measuring tool and find the center of this footing, and we're going to create a 2x4, which would be 1.5 by 3.5 dimension, and we're going to go half of that is going to be 0.75, no, 3.5, 1.75, 1.75, and then we'll go down 1.5. Now we are triple clicked into our footing. We can just draw a line like this with our draw tool and do another one, and then push down, and we have our key. And if we hit escape a couple of times, then we are out of that group, and we can get rid of delete guides again. And now we're ready for our wall. So we're going to center the 8-inch concrete wall on our footing, grab our tape measure tool, it'll pick it there. We're going to set it there in the middle, and then we'll go 4 inches, and you type that in and hit enter, and then 4 and enter, and then we'll grab the top of the footing and we'll go 8 feet. Okay, if we zoom out and see where the top of that wall is going to be, and then if we grab our draw tool and we just trace that outline, and then we can use push-pull to push it, oops, to push it the length, and then we need to triple click, right click, and make it a group. Now, so that we can see through it like we can the footing, we're going to go to our materials, and we're going to also make it a transparent glass so we can see through it. Now, go back here to our guides. We're going to delete the guides that we have. And now we're going to create the L bars that go up through there. And of course, there are many ways to do this. But what we're going to do today is we're going to use our tape measure tool and come back to the center of our footing. And we'll go this way, say 8 inches. And we will come up, say 4 inches here, and another 0.25. Okay, and then we're going to use our draw tool, and we'll draw from there to there, and then stop a few inches shy. I believe I said 3 inches in the assignment. And then what we're going to do is come over here and create a circle on this face like that in the center of that line. We've got a circle and with that line in the center, and then we're going to go over here and we're going to use a tool called Follow Me. So if you pick Follow Me and you pick your circle, you can trace that line all the way up when it's paying attention. Come on. There we go. You have to Come on. Sometimes it wants to give you a hard time. And then you hit enter, and you have your rebar as one continuous piece. Then you can triple click, right click, and make it a group. And then we want to move it in so that it aligns with our rebar. So for a second, let's pick the footing and hide it. And then we're going to grab this, and we're going to move it in so that it is on top of this. Now these are only at 32 inches on center, where these were at 16. So in order to copy this, we grab the move tool, and we can either grab the ends of our circles and do every other one, or we can just hit control and move and head in the direction that we want to go, and then hit 32 inches, and then we want to make 2 of those, let's say. And there you go, you have your extra one. Now we can delete the guides and unhide all of the objects, and we have our vertical L bars in our footings. Now we've used it for its purpose. And now all we need are our vertical rebars, or our horizontally oriented at 12 inches. Add number 4 rebar, 12 inches on center vertically throughout. So it goes up this way every 12 inches. So we can start here and use our tape measure tool and type in 12 inches. And we'll pick the middle of the footing again and go to our circle tool and then type in 0.25 because we want the radius of a number 4 rebar. And then we can push it all the way through. Okay. And then we can triple click. If we're not picking the guides, triple click, right click, and make it a group. Now this is centered, so we need to move it off center, 0.5, so that it's on one side of that. And then those happen every 12 inches vertically up the footing. So what we're going to do, it's selected and we've got our move tool going. We're going to start moving it in the direction we want to go and hit control. And if you're on the blue axis like that is there, then you can type in 1, 2, 12 inches on the command line and hit enter. And then the number of times that you want to repeat that, which let's say 7x, and hit enter. And now if we look, we have all of our rebars and an extra one, so we can just delete that out of there. And then you have your rebar on the wall. So what else is in the assignment? We are going to paint the exterior face of the foundation wall and footing with blue to signify the liquid waterproofing. So we're going to triple click into the group and then pick that face, and then we're going to go over here to materials, and we're going to pick blue. We're going to paint that surface. Now we can hit the escape key and get out of that grouping, and we're going to triple click and get into here and then pick that surface. We're going to need the draw tool here in order to cut that face so that we're only painting the outside. There we go, like that, because before we were getting that little bit too. And now we're going to pick our paint bucket tool again and put the liquid waterproofing on there. And then we're going to come down here and pick this one and put the liquid waterproofing on here, if it will let me pick the paintbrush. There we go. Now we have all of our liquid waterproofing on. We're going to hit escape and get out of that group. And then I'm also going to get rid of my guides. So you go to here and say delete all your guides. And of course it doesn't always want to let me do what I want to do in the free version. Delete your guides. Oh, I was trying to unhide them, wasn't I? Okay, and then what else do we need to do? Add the 3/4 inch drainage mat to the exterior face of the foundation wall. We're going to grab our rectangle tool and we're going to come over here and make a rectangle that's on that face. And then we're going to pick our push-pull tool and we're going to pull it out and type in 3/4 and then hit enter, and that'll give us a 3/4 inch thick drainage mat against that wall. And then you triple click, right click, and make it a group. Now add a 4-inch diameter drainage pipe 3 inches from the bottom of the footing and 12 inches from the face of the footing. So we're going to take our tape measure tool and come down here, and it needs to be 12 inches in this direction and 3 inches from the bottom of the footing, and then it's 4-inch drainage pipe, so we're going to come up another 2 inches to get to the middle of that one. And then we're going to pick a vertical line and bring it over here so that we can use our guides anytime that we can. And then we're going to pick our circle tool and we're going to grab that and come down to there. And then we need to make this hollow since we can. We're going to look for our offset tool and zoom in, and then we're going to pick this and pull in and type in 1/8 of an inch, and then pick the middle and then hit delete, and it will go away, and now you have a hollow pipe. Now pick your push-pull tool and you're going to push it all the way down. And then select tool, triple click, right click, and make it a group. Now, wrap the geotextile filter fabric down the face of the foundation wall around the drainage pipe as shown and back up to grade. So I'm going to get these guides out of the way again. And what that's going to look like is a shape like this. Go over here to your draw tool. Go down the face of your drainage mat, out across your footing, down here, and then come out here, and then kind of diagonal it up to the top of the footing, and then connect it up here. Now, we're going to cut out the area where the pipe is before we go any further. So we're going to take the circle tool and find the center of that pipe and make another circle, and then we can hit the select tool and delete. And now we have a hollow area all the way through, and we're going to push this all the way down, and we're going to triple click, right click, and make it a group. Now this has two components. This has the septic rock inside of it and the filter fabric around it. So we're going to move this out away from our wall for a second, and we'll type in, say, 4 feet so that we know how far to move it back in a second. Now, the wrap of the filter fabric, we're going to make it a color. So let's go over here and pick any color that kind of stands out. We can make it green. And we're going to paint all of those surfaces because we're going to have a roll of material that we roll down on our face and back up and connect it at the top. And then inside of that, what we're going to have is stone. So if we go here and let's look for landscape and vegetation, and we want large rock inside of the filter fabric. That might be a little bit too large. That looks about right. Now we have that as a group. We're going to move that back 4 feet. And that should be the extent of your footing and foundation model. If you have any questions, you can, oh, you know what I'm missing? Perhaps it's in the next video, is our anchor bolts. Okay, we'll get to that in the next video. Call me if you have questions. Thanks.